Hello, and welcome back to What Your Blood Test Really Means. Episode 2, ferritin. We're still stuck on ferritin because I think it is such an important marker. The reason it's one of my favorite markers is because almost everybody thinks it's just an iron test. But if you know what you're looking for, it can tell a much bigger story. So let me tell you about a patient. She came in to see me a while ago because she was exhausted and losing hands full of hair every time she washed it. And she stopped exercising because she just simply didn't have the energy. And she started wondering whether this is just a part of getting older. She'd already had blood tests through her GP and been told everything looked fine. So when I looked at her results, one thing immediately caught my eye, her ferritin. Now, technically, it was normal. So you might think we can rule iron out, but this is where I think it's really important to understand what laboratory reference ranges actually mean. They're not necessarily telling us where people function at their best. They're statistical ranges based on the general population, and the general population isn't necessarily healthy, unfortunately. So although her ferritin was above the laboratory cutoff, it was still lower than I'd ideally like to see in someone with symptoms like hair loss and fatigue and that poor exercise tolerance. So in my own practice, I often find people start to feel and function better when ferritin is somewhere around 70 to 100 micrograms per liter. It's not a magic number, and it certainly isn't right for everyone, but it is a useful clinical guide when I'm looking at the whole picture. And again, blood tests should never be interpreted in isolation, especially when it comes to ferritin. I'm also looking at the full blood count, serum iron, transferrin saturation, vitamin B12, inflammatory markers, symptoms, of course, and medical history. And it's the combination that tells the story. But here's the twist. Most people think that if ferritin is high, you simply have too much iron. And that's not necessarily the case. So ferritin is actually what is known as an acute phase reactant, which means it also goes up when there's inflammation in the body. So high ferritin might be telling me more than iron overload or excess iron. It might be telling me about a fatty liver or metabolic dysfunction or an infection or an autoimmune condition or inflammation somewhere else in the body. And that's why you can never look at ferritin on its own. If it's raised, I'm asking, is this iron overload? But I'm also asking, where's the fire? Because sometimes ferritin isn't acting like an iron marker at all. It's acting like a smoke alarm. And that's what I love about functional medicine. We're not just interested in whether a blood test is high or low. We're interested in what it's trying to tell us, because every blood test leaves clues. And our job is to put those clues together to uncover the story. So next time we'll look at another blood marker that surprises people just as often, HbA1c. Most people think lower is always better, and it isn't always. Thank you for joining me today.